When Amazon came out with Lord of the Rings of Power, which is an absolute travesty, disgusting, a bastardization of J.R.R. Tolkien's lore and his world and his creation, basically everyone rejected it. It's been a massive financial failure for them. The audience didn't even want to finish it, and overall it has been rejected by the fans. But one of the reasons that the activists involved at Amazon with Rings of Power and stuff like that, the reason they wanted to change so many things about what race these people look like and the diversity that we have here and all the different black people that show up here, actually, even though Tolkien wrote it specifically not that way, is because they hate J.R.R. Tolkien. They hate the world that he's created, and they hate that it's beloved by so many people around the world, despite not being made by modern day sensibilities, which is shoving black people and gay people into every corner of everything you'd possibly imagine. And about once every 6 months, we see articles that pop up that call Tolkien a racist in some way, or say that Lord of the Rings is inherently racist. Well, once again, here we have an article, and this time it's about a college, a university in the UK that is teaching people that Lord of the Rings is racist. And if you don't accept that, you don't pass the course. Lord of the Rings demonizes people of color, students told. University course suggests college or Tolkien's treatment of evil characters follows a tradition of anti-African antipathy. A university is teaching students that Tolkien demonizes people of color in Lord of the Rings books. And obviously this is from the Telegraph, which is why they spell demonize like that and color like that. I gotta say, I said this earlier on Friday Night Tights, demonize with an S, a lot softer than demonize with a Z. Demonize with a Z, that packs some fucking punch. You know what I'm saying? A history module called Decolonizing Tolkien, taught at the University of Nottingham, uses a text that says orcs and other dark-skinned characters in the trilogy are victims of ethnic chauvinism. Dr. Onyeka Nubia, a historian and writer, black if you couldn't tell, who leads the module, argues that Eastern races in the fictional realm of Middle-earth are depicted as evil, while fair-skinned people from the West are known as virtuous. In academia, decolonizing usually means re-examining or moving away from white Western viewpoints. It's tough to move away from a white Western viewpoint when the man who wrote this was writing from a white Western viewpoint for an audience of white Westerners. He was British and he was writing it for the British. That's who this story is for. That's its purpose, right? That's what this story is, decolonizing. And by decolonizing it, what they really mean is we need to go in there and we need to fix it. We need to have people reflect on how racist this shit is, and we need to rewrite it for a modern era, which ironically would be black people colonizing white culture. Pretty ironic, I would say, but let's move on. In the module's core text, Dr. Onyeka writes that maligned peoples include Easterlings, Southrons, and men from Harad. The trilogy also features the dark-skinned orcs, evil creatures that do the bidding of Sauron, known as the Dark Lord. And yes, right, they are even going so far as to say that calling Sauron the Dark Lord is racist because they use the word dark. The people that are teaching students this, the people that have been pushing this shit and preaching this shit, they go back to the idea of light and dark, like representing, like darkness representing evil. They go back to that being racist. That's what they think. These are the people that you see, these animalistic orcs, right? These like subhuman fucking creatures, these orcs, these terrible people. They immediately see them and they think that represents black people. That's their thinking. Weird. It adds that Tolkien's treatment of the fictional races shares in a tradition of anti-African antipathy, in which people from Africa are painted as the natural enemy of the white man. The module also examines racial issues. It's not just about Tolkien, by the way. It examines racial issues in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The Calormen in C.S. Lewis's fantasy novels have long been seen by some as exhibiting Oriental stereotypes. They're described as cruel people with long beards and orange-colored turbans. That represents Orientals? The fuck are we talking about? If I was going to go racist towards Orientals, I would say something way different. But anyway, students, of course, in Nottingham will also learn to repopulate the canon of British myth and legend. This is what it's about. How would it be if I decided to go down to fucking Africa? Don't know how many universities are down there. Maybe I can find one that'll take me on as a professor. Maybe I'll go down there. And what if I told them, you know, all these fucking myths and stories and things like that from your culture, and all these African fucking tales that you have, it's not really okay because there's not enough white people in there. You know, your culture, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to tell you there's not enough white people here. And I think that we need to take this back. I think we need to recolonize this. I think we need, how would that go over? It'd be pretty fucking retarded, wouldn't it? But that's what people have been doing to British culture and English culture for forever. They're teaching a fucking course at the University of Nottingham. That's what they're telling people. You need, right, to repopulate the canon. Dr. Nubia, an occasional contributor to the BBC, no fucking doubt, provided articles saying medieval London had diverse populations and Africans lived there, but ethnic chauvinism was evident in the literature, including Milton's Paradise Lost, and their tradition persisted in works of Tolkien and Lewis. Just because you find a handful of fucking remains from some random rich merchant that happened to be traveling through, or maybe somebody that fucking got taken as a slave or some shit or whatever, you try to push this as if the representation of the UK centuries and centuries prior is what it is now. And it's just not the fucking case. He claims in the core module text that Shakespeare's work helped promote a vision of fictional monoethnic English past. Fictional monoethnic English past. These people are deranged. They're fucking delusional. And they want to change your culture. They want to destroy white culture wherever it's at and replace it with their own. That's what this course is all about. His plays are said to be problematic for missing direct references to Africans living in England, creating an illusion of racial homogeneity in England. In 2021, academics taking part in an anti-racist Shakespeare program at the Globe Theatre argued the Bard's work consistently links whiteness to beauty, while dark is unattractive. If you play in context with other Shakespearean plays, even the sonnets, this language is all over the place. The language of dark and light. These are racializing elements. Most people, if they're hearing allegories to darkness and light, they're thinking about maybe this idea of good versus evil, but it has nothing at all to do with the color of someone's skin. It has everything to do with just the concept, the initial concept of we as human beings, when we started to fucking become alive in this world. The idea that, hey, when it's light out, you're more safe. You can see everything. Everything's revealed. Darkness, nothing's revealed. You don't know exactly what's going on. It might be dark out there. Like we need fire so we can see things. You want things revealed. Like this is what we're talking about. You motherfuckers see a reference about light and dark and you immediately think they must be referring to my skin color. These activist freaks, dude. The Telegraph previously revealed that Shakespeare's birthplace, Stratford-upon-Avon, was set to be decolonized following concerns about playwright being used to promote white supremacy. So yes, this is what they're trying to do. They're calling it the decolonization of English works, when in reality, black people, black activists are colonizing white culture. And they're trying to make you change it because it's racist to our modern day sensibilities. Go fuck yourself. How would you feel, Dr. The fuck is your name? Dr. Onyeka Nubia, if I went down in Nigeria or I went down any one of these other fucking countries in Africa and I tried to do the same thing to your legends, to your works of art, to your literature, to your culture. Don't know how much we'll find down there. But what if I tried to do that? Would that make any sense? No. It wouldn't, and it doesn't make any fucking sense here either. But we see this every so often, and this is why Rings of Power is the way that it is. This is why this has happened, because these activists have been doing this for years and years and years, desperately trying to convince you that Tolkien's racist, to the point where the activists at Amazon feel like they need to correct for modern day sensibilities and put a bunch of fucking different diversity in Rings of Power, even though it didn't exist in Tolkien's work. They've bastardized Lord of the Rings, and it's stupid fucks like this dude who are part of the problem.